Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from What Culture, and if you're a fan of our interviews, make sure you subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on iTunes to hear the full-length versions alongside our reviews of Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-views like All In this weekend, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week on Wrestle Culture, complete with a bloody good quiz, of course. For now, though, here's a clip of my chat with Bruce Prichard giving his thoughts on the current state of WWE, Roman Reigns, women's wrestling, who he thinks is the biggest heel in the business today, and if he'd ever go back to WWE. Enjoy. I'd love to know your thoughts on the current state of WWE, what with Roman Reigns now being Universal Champion and the issues with Braun Strowman that have just come to light with the Shield on Monday Night Raw. Well, what do you make of the current product?
Well, it is what it is, and I think that it's a pretty good product. It obviously has to be. You look at the kind of business that they're doing right now. You look at the stock prices and what they're doing. For anybody that wants to complain and say that they're doing something wrong, they got a pretty strong argument. What they're doing is obviously working and obviously right to get to where they want to be. I enjoy it. For me, I think that a 3-hour Monday Night Raw is a little too long. That coming from the guy that does the 3 and 4 hour podcast. So pot, kettle, black. It's enjoyable. I think a lot of it is maybe more homogenized than for my taste, but everybody's got different tastes, and times change, and you have to change with the times. So I look at it. I enjoy the talent. I enjoy some of the bigger personalities. I think Miz is probably the best heel in the business right now. I've said for probably a year now, maybe 2, that Roman Reigns should have been the guy. They waited. I think that what they're doing is they're doing it right, and people are talking. So as long as they're talking about you, that's a good thing.
And we have to mention as well the current state of women's wrestling, not just in WWE, but I mean, WWE is the main focal point of it now, what with Evolution coming. It must be amazing to see how far it's transitioned from, your initial time in the WWE to now. They've got their own pay-per-view. Ronda Rousey is, the talk of the town on every single pay-per-view that she appears on. How is that for you, watching this amazing evolution of women's wrestling?
Well, you know what? I told this story the other day on one of our live shows with Charlotte on stage. I come from a time I was looking at old advertisements in the 60s and 70s where on the advertisement they would have the main event, maybe another match, and they'd say, plus midgets and women. So our society has grown a lot as far as how they view things and what's proper and what's the right thing and right descriptors to use. I think that the current caliber of talent that WWE has, and let's talk about all of them, man. I think that the current level of talent and just the way that the product has been displayed to people, man, you've got some great athletes out there. I'm not a big proponent of saying, hey, the women are wrestling. It's just, man, Charlotte and Becky Lynch are wrestling. They happen to be women. They're still stars, and we have reached a point that doesn't matter. You don't have to say women wrestling. If you've got half a brain and you look at them, I'm pretty sure you're not going to confuse them for the men. But I do believe there will be a time that they will main event WrestleMania. Again, they have their own pay-per-view. And it's not just because they're women, it's because they're talented and because they have the ability and they've got the storyline and you care enough about them that you want to see more. I look at them as talent, and they're great talent. And as long as you have great talent able to tell great stories, then people are going to come out and see what you have.
Now, Bruce, I love personally hearing you plot, not just pay-per-view to pay-per-view, but match to match when talking with certain superstars in their time in the WWE. As someone who's been there and seen the progression of certain stars, what do you make of how they're handling someone like Ronda Rousey? Because there was a lot expected of her when she came into the WWE, and I'll be honest, I think a lot of us thought after the Royal Rumble and then a promo that It wasn't quite to the level perhaps we expected, but then seeing how she's performed since, let's say, WrestleMania, I mean, that was her real breakout performance. What do you make of her and how they're handling her and how they're showcasing what an amazing athlete she is in the ring?
I think they're doing a hell of a job. I compare her to Kurt Angle in the same presentation because Ronda, I don't know how long Ronda's been training, but I can tell you from training to being in front of a worldwide audience, the way that she's been thrust in there, that's a big difference. And that's an adaptation that you have to grow into. So hats off to her for being able to adapt and get in the ring and work like she's been doing it forever. Man, she is a hell of an athlete, a hell of a talent. And obviously, people care about her and are interested in what the hell she does. So that's good for the company. But as far as her picking up the business side of things in the ring, shoot, man, that's not easy to do. And there's people that train for years and years that do not have the poise that she does in the ring. Now, she's been in other rings. That helps. She's the real deal. That helps. But at the same time, man, you take world champion boxers and world champion MMA fighters and anything else, sometimes they're uncomfortable in the wrestling ring. She feels, she looks, and I dare say she is comfortable in the ring.
Would you go back to WWE Creative if they offered you a job, perhaps slightly distantly from Steph, let's say?
Oh, I have no problem working with Stephanie, and it's the answer to the question is if it was the right deal, right time, right place, of course I would. It's just my life has changed as well, and I've created a business and opportunity over on this other side, and to walk away from that would take an awful lot. So that's why the conditions, if they came to me and made the conditions where I couldn't refuse it, I'd be a fool not to take it, not to do it. But right now, that's not something that is in the cards because I really haven't been offered anything to refuse. So when that day comes, I'm going to be a businessman and take a look at it. But I'm pretty happy what I'm doing what I'm doing now.